Derek, thanks for coming. Welcome.
Thank you.
And first, just tell us what Partners in School Innovation is about and why, from my observations, it's been successful.
Sure. Partners is largely a reform that's aimed at supporting the work of teachers in our most challenged classrooms. Partners is successful from a number of perspectives and for a number of reasons. Primarily because we do an extraordinary job of helping teachers use data to improve their practice. Partners staff spend a significant amount of time and energy working alongside dynamic building leaders, helping the teachers to shore up places in their instructional practices that will enable them to really target their instruction to where their kids need them to be, using data primarily. Much of our work is driven from a change management perspective as opposed to any individual sort of content expertise, although all of our team members are trained in literacy. And so much of what we do is help teachers shore up the ability to help kids learn how to read.
So how is your program different from other programs that go in and consult with teachers about data?
Sure. Well, in some cases we're different, in some cases we're not. Like many of the other partner organizations who come together to help schools do the work that they're responsible for doing, we engage primarily through partnering with the building leader and in support of that leader's implementation of their vision. So there are times when reformers really are looking to replace the leader in the building or to supplant the kind of leadership for the building. Our work is really understanding that building leader's vision and essentially putting our shoulder to the wheel of that leader's work. That's one way that we're distinctive. Another way is we work with teachers to support teachers. So our reform is a deeply respectful and impactful reform because we work eye to eye with teachers. We hire teachers who have been highly successful in classrooms to really roll up their sleeves and work alongside their peers. Because of that, teachers don't often feel a little intimidated by our team members, and they feel that the team members can actually come and contribute because they deeply understand the context and understand the work.
What kind of results have you seen, and what districts are you located in?
Sure. Up until now, we've worked primarily in the Bay Area, and we are currently in partnership with the amazing school districts in San Jose Unified and Alum Rock. We're also working in schools in Oakland Unified School District and a very strong both school and district reform work that we're helping San Francisco Unified engage in. In terms of results, our results, we've been successful for the most part in about 60% of our schools have gotten what we call transformational results, which are academic gains approaching double digits in terms of percentage of kids being able to read over time. And that what's most exciting for us is that our results align with our implementation. And so we essentially can really map a relationship by which if the school and building leaders are able to implement the pillars of reform the way that we're interested in helping them do, they can pretty much expect some pretty exceptional academic gains.
And a typical day working with you would be like what?
Yeah, so a typical day would be where a team member, someone who we call our SIPs, our school improvement partners, would help facilitate a grade level team meeting looking at the most recent performance data and asking questions about whether or not the work that was anticipated met the kind of academic gains that were expected. There will be times when team members would build some collaborative understanding of what students need to learn and be able to do. And there are also some opportunities in our work where we facilitate grade level team meetings. We support the building leader in teacher personal development opportunities. We often spend a lot of time massaging, managing, and representing the school's data in ways that are instantly actionable. And it enables a teacher to see what the impact of the change she made in her practice meant academically for the kids who she served.
So what are sort of the obstacles or the stress points that you find in this program? Is it time for collaboration? Is it non-cooperative principle? Is it resistance of teachers? What do you have to overcome?
Yeah, well, all those are part of the work. what I help our team understand is that often what the teachers who we support in the schools that have had long histories of not meeting the standards, um, you know, teachers essentially are faced with a challenge that they were never fully prepared to meet. They enter into a classroom of kids, the vast majority of which aren't prepared for the content that the teacher's responsible for helping them learn. And they could be 2 and sometimes 3 grade levels below where they need them to be. And no one's training teachers to move kids 4 grade levels in one school year. And so there's a lot of frustration on the part of our teachers because they have been able to be effective moving kids further along, just not as far as the kids really need to be moved.
Right.
And of course, not as far as the measure our state assessment is interested in seeing them move.
So what are the obstacles to scaling up your program, and once you get in, do you hope to get out of the school?
Sure. Well, the scale question is something that my board and I and partners organization is spending a lot of our energy thinking about right now. And because our intervention is highly human intensive, we have team members, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, in the school 3 out of every 5 days of the week. And that's a lot of people. And that means there's some significant investment that's needed for that work to be successful. The primary mechanism for scale, I believe, is going to be into school districts themselves, because the work that we do is the work of a school district, helping their schools that are not meeting with success, you know, build the capacity to be successful. And so school districts will be where we move most of our work to, and how we believe we can actually get to scale and come to scale.
Yeah. So if teachers are working with data through you and are feeling comfortable with it, so why the resistance to using data as a measure of performance for tenure and pay and
Sure.
and rollout?
Sure. I frankly, I don't think there's a lot of rational resistance to use of data for some of the accountability purposes and you know, and a measurement of teacher quality. I believe that many of the teachers that we work with have been victims of data. And their resistance is because the data has been misused to mischaracterize what it is they're interested in doing and what results they were able to achieve. I can illustrate it for you that if I have a third of my students who are 3 grade levels below grade level, and I'm a 4th grade teacher, and I move them 2 grade levels in the confines of a single school year, so I do an amazing job, they still won't meet the standard. And so even though I've moved them 2 years in 1 year, the state assessment, that data is invisible to them, which is why I'm in great support of what the administration is interested in doing, is making sure that we're able to track kids' growth from 1 year to the next. And I believe that teachers who understand their craft and who are excited about and responsible for helping kids meet with great academic successes are going to absolutely be interested in making sure that the kids who they serve, you know, and the test scores for those kids is reflective of their practice. And just as in every other industry, you're going to have a few people who, you know, really aren't interested in looking at and understanding their impacts. But I frankly don't believe that there's, you know, more than 5 teachers in the entire state of California who drive themselves home at the end of the day saying, I've messed up the lives of kids today. Yay.
So what are the lessons or implications from your work in partnership that can be applied perhaps nationwide, particularly with Race to the Top and the reauthorization of No Child Left Behind, in
Sure.
terms of professional development?
Sure. Well, one right off the bat is really that teachers aren't the enemy to this work, and they aren't the cause of the problem. Just because better instruction is the solution doesn't mean that teachers are the problem. And so part of what I really believe we need to do is to develop our reforms in such a way that the teachers are actually the drivers of the bus and not under the wheels of it. That's a huge learning for us in our work as well. That if you're rational about your expectations for them and you provide them with the supports that they need to be exceptional, they'll meet your expectations.
Yeah, good. Well, I hope that Sacramento and Washington are listening to us today. Derek Mitchell, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
We look forward to speaking with you again. This is John Fensterwald from The Educated Guests, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.